Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Eric and I like to read, and today I'm going to be doing the Wonder book tag. I was tagged to do this by Enchanted Reader, and I was tagged last year, so I'm finally getting to this book tag, as is the usual for any book tags I'm tagged in. It takes me a while to get to them, but I do eventually get to them. So this one is all about Shawn Mendes' new album Wonder, and all the prompts are for each of the different songs on his new album. I like Shawn Mendes and I like his music, so I think this will be a fun tag to do. And a lot of the questions, I had some difficulty coming up with answers for some of these, as you will see. So yeah, let's just dive right into it. The first question was Wonder. And this is a book that you can't stop thinking about. And so for this one, I chose Bloodwell Out by Joe Triggieri because ever since I read this book, I have been talking about it and telling people about this book and how you're gonna think one thing going into it, and by the end, your mind is gonna be blown. There are so many twists and turns in this book that I was not expecting, and so it really left an impact on me, and I still think about it to this day. This was actually also my first book that I ever read for NetGalley, and so that was really exciting. And then the author sent me an actual book after the fact because I had an e-arc of it from NetGalley, so that was really cool. And so thanks, Joe. But yeah, I would strongly recommend checking out this book. It has multiple covers. There's another cover that looks kind of similar to this, and it's very red and kind of abstract. That's the one that I've seen in the stores. So yeah, but it's a really good thriller book. Essentially, the premise of this is that the main character, her name is Ari, and she wakes up, the book starts with her waking up in the bottom of a cistern, so a well, and she is trying to figure out how to escape this place and how she even got here in the first place. And it just the story just goes from there. It's told in multiple perspectives, and it's really, really cool. So I would strongly recommend checking this one out. Next up, we have Higher, and this is a sequel that you think was better than the first book. And so for this one, I chose Gemina because I thought this book was so intense, and I really liked the characters in this book. Well, I don't want to say I liked them more than the characters in the first book. I liked some characters more than some characters of the first book. But the two main characters, I think they're both the most badass women in space besides Spensa from Skyward. And so I really liked this one because Hannah, the main character of this one, just goes and goes, and she doesn't stop, and she's having so many things happen to her all at once, but she just perseveres and keeps going. And I loved it. It was such a thrill ride of a book. There were so many different pieces falling into place and so many different things happening all at once, but it was just so much chaotic energy, and I loved it. It was such a fun thrill ride of a book. And when I think of an action-packed book, this is what I think of. I'm also one to usually like the second books in series more than the first book. So that's kind of a recurring trend with me, but this was one that definitely stood out. Then we have 24 hours, and so this is to choose a book that you read in 24 hours. So I'm not going to take it out of the box set, but The Hunger Games I actually read in less than 24 hours. I'm just not taking it out because it's hard to take it out and put it back in this thing. But yeah, that would be a book that I've read under 24 hours. I don't know if there's any other ones that I've read that fast. And this was when I was getting back into reading in college. But yeah, this book just sparked my love for reading again and sent me on a whole nother journey. So thanks to The Hunger Games. Next up is Teach Me How to Love. And this is a book with a steamy romance in it. And so for this one, I chose Red, White, and Royal Blue because that was a very steamy romance for me. I don't really read many romance books in general, but this was one of this was one of the couple that I did read. And I found the romance to be steamy. I don't know, it's probably not as steamy as other romance books, but for me, it was. Next up is Call My Friends, and so this is to choose your best friend's book. And so I'm going with Marcus for this one because he's my boyfriend and my best friend. So I'm choosing his book. And so he can't choose his all-time favorite book. So he's going to choose his favorite book from last year, and that was The Black Prism by Brent Weeks. I don't know anything about this book. I just know that Marcus really enjoyed it. And so, yeah, this was his favorite book. Next up, we have Dream, and this is to choose a book with a long-distance relationship. And I had a really hard time finding a book for this. And I still don't even know if the book I chose counts for it, because it's like I'm getting pretty technical with it. But I chose Landline by Rainbow Rowell. And the way this is a long distance relationship is because in this book, she's communicating with her husband from the past through a landline telephone. So I don't even know if that really counts for this. But like I said, I don't read that many romance books, so like I don't have many to pull from for long distance relationships. But this is the closest I could get to a book on our shelf and a book that I've like actually read. So yeah, I'm just gonna go with it. Then we have Sing for No One, and this is a character breakup that destroyed you. Once again, we're kind of going into the romance book genre, and I don't have many character breakups that destroy me, but the one I'm choosing is actually from a sci-fi book, and this is Limited Wish. So in this book, the main character has to make a decision between two people that are very important to him, and I don't believe that they made the right decision. Personally, I would have made the other decision, but that's just me. I actually like raged to Marcus after finishing this book because that's not like what I was hoping he would do. And I thought it was kind of catastrophic in my opinion. But anyways, I can't really go much into it because that would get into spoiler territory. But yeah, this was like the closest thing I could think of that came in like even close to something to go with this prompt. So yeah, we're just gonna go with that. The next one is Monster, and this is to choose your favorite villain. And so for this one, I wanted to choose Adelina from the Young Elites, but she's not really technically a villain. She's more of like an anti-hero. So I chose Dr. Fid from Fid's Crusade because this is actually like the origin story of a villain. And he just has like so many different sides to him that you get to explore throughout this trilogy. So I thought it was really cool to see that kind of perspective because you normally don't get to see the villain's perspective. And so I thought that was really fun. Plus, he's a really badass villain. If you read the trilogy, you'll understand. Then we have 305, and this is an unexpected relationship between characters. And so I can't even say this one without laughing because it's ridiculous. But I'm saying the relationship between Jacob and the fetus or the small child in the Twilight series. I don't even know if you can count that because the child is not willingly being in this relationship because they were imprinted on. But I just think that that was ridiculous and very unexpected. So that's what I'm going with. Then we have Always Been You. And this is a fictional couple that is endgame. And so for this one, I chose Nick and Charlie from Heartstopper Volume 1. I think that these guys are endgame. I hope they're endgame. I'm crossing my fingers for it, but like I just love their relationship dynamic and just how they are so comfortable with each other and how they are helping each other through different things in their life. I think that they're adorable. I call this like series like the cutesy fluffy series that like if I ever want to read something lighthearted and fun, like I will pick up these books. And yeah, like I'm hoping that they're end goals and I'm crossing my fingers for it. I believe that Alice Oseman is currently working on volume 4 of this series, and I am so excited to read that. Like when it comes out, I'm buying it ASAP. Then we have Piece of You, and this is a book that you would never lend out. And so for this one, I'm choosing Dark Age by Pierce Brown because this is like my pristine edition that Marcus got me with the painted edges. Like I would never lend this to anybody because I don't want anything to happen to this book. This is like my precious. Picture me as like Smeagol from Lord of the Rings. This is my ring right here. I will not give this to anybody. It's not going anywhere. It's staying with me. If any damage comes upon it, it's going to be me doing it by accident and no one else. I will not let anything happen to this book. So yeah, this is my precious. Then we have Look Up at the Stars, and this is a book set on another planet or in another world. So for this one, I went with Another Planet and chose Skyward because I love this book. You guys have heard me talk about this book all the time, and I'm sure you're probably sick of it by now, but this book takes place on a different planet, and this planet is surrounded by like this metal that's attached to the atmosphere, so it's kind of like a giant metal ball. It's pretty cool, and I definitely think you should check this out if you get a chance. It's got space pilots, it's got sarcasm, it's got awesome characters, and awesome action scenes. It's really good. So I would check this out if I were you. And then lastly, we have Cant Imagine. And this is a book that you can't live without. And I feel like I don't even need to say it anymore. Like, honestly, you could probably all guess it right now. But yeah, I'm going to show you anyways. And it's Red Rising, obviously. This book is like my staple, I guess. I literally talk about it all the time, and it's in my profile picture. And like, yeah, I just can't get enough of this book and this book series. And so, yeah, this book is like, if I had to embody my love for reading in one book, this would be it. So, yeah, can't live without this one. And that's it for the Wonder Book Tag. It was actually a lot of fun. Like, I really enjoyed doing this tag. Thank you to Enchanted Reader for tagging me in this because it was cool. I guess this is the part where I should tag some people. So first and foremost, I'm going to tag Hillary from Melted Books because she's my go-to for tags. And she actually always does pretty much all of them. So yeah, I'm tagging you, Hillary. I'm also going to tag Kira from the Book Bella because I haven't seen any of her content lately. And so I'm giving you some content to do, Kira, if you want a video that's quick and easy. I will also tag Steph from Coffee Over Apples and the BookTube Goddess. So that's everybody I'm tagging. And that's it for my video, guys. Comment down below if you found any of those answers interesting. I know some of them were quite out there, but I tried my best to fit each prompt for this tag. And yeah, even comment down below what you would answer for some of these because I'm just curious to know. If you want to support me, I have a Patreon and a Ko-fi page, which I'll put in the description down below. You know the drill. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification button so you get notified when I post videos. I post my videos on Mondays and Thursdays. And until next time, keep on reading.